Hey, I'm going to do something that's pretty ambitious, or I'm going to try to lay out a moral philosophy that explains the basis of goodness, what it means to be a good person. The basis for goodness for me, if I were to use one word, it's humility. And not modesty, not the shrinking of the self or making one small or diminishing one's abilities, but the accurate appraisal of oneself in relation to their environment. So the ability to know when you're operating from advantage or disadvantage. When we're talking about moral goodness, we're talking about kindness and compassion and mercy. And for me, what that boils down to is generosity, the ability to give without expectation of return. And so you have to have a certain amount of moral wealth to be able to give without expectation of return. Otherwise, you need that exchange in order to keep yourself going. Example would be if someone's yelling at you, they're giving you a piece of their mind, they're swearing, they're rageful, and you're just responding with kindness and compassion. You have to be the person who's in a more secure place than them to be able to receive what they're giving you, process it, and respond kindly. And if you don't have that, then you can't be generous. I'm using humility in this moment is as like emotional accounting. It's the thing that helps you check in with the environment and what you're feeling and say, actually, you know what? I do have a bit extra security to be able to invest in this dialogue from a place of kindness and compassion. Humility is also the thing that helps you understand your dark side. It tells you that, oh shoot, this is challenging me in such a way that at any moment I'm going to respond with equal or greater rage and aggression. And so I need to get away from this conversation right now. That's humility as well. A little recap: goodness, as defined as generosity of spirit, compassionate, and kindness, is rooted in the ability to self-appraise and know whether you can actually afford to be compassionate in the moment and do what's necessary to protect yourself and others around you in the environment. If it should turn out that you're not actually the bigger person in the scenario who can be so generous to be a container for their emotions and their debts, you can still use humility to be compassionate for yourself first. Say, this is what I'm going through and this is what I need to move through this moment. By being honest and vulnerable, you still retain goodness. This is why humility starts with HUM, because it's connected to humanity. By recognizing that everybody's flawed, you can be compassionate to them. But recognizing that you're flawed, you can be compassionate to yourself and decide whether you have the capacity to be generous for the miscommunications and the anger and rage, and that leads to moral behavior. Talk about what it is to be a good or better person. It's about getting better and better at understanding the accuracy and the reality of the situation. I'm at fault, you're at fault, this is what I need to make amends. And so, of course, at the end of the day, it all boils down to truth.